So Kelsey was 40 weeks and 5 days. So we had already gone past our due date, and it was Wednesday. On Friday, it would have been 41 weeks. So we had the final doctor check-in on Wednesday at noon, and then that's where the doctor tried to tell us that we needed to induce on Friday, just because things were getting so late in their eyes, and the amniotic fluid levels were low, relatively low at the time of the reading. So knowing what we know, we were going to try to avoid that. But the other kind of option in between was to sweep the membranes. So the plan was, the original plan, of course, after taking all the classes, is natural birth, no epidural, and have a healthy baby via vaginal birth. So that's the ultimate plan. So what happened and was on Wednesday at that doctor's appointment, they swept the membrane, and that was at 12:30. 4 o'clock, the contractions started a little bit mild. By 6 o'clock, they had increased. 10:30 at night, they were very intense. The contractions, the surges were very intense at that point. And we had also talked to Ashley, our doula, who I highly recommend. She was great through the process. But by 10:30, Ashley was on the phone with me, and we were talking through some of the symptoms and how Kelsey was feeling. And the one of the major deciding factors to head to the hospital at 10:30 at night on Wednesday was the fact that Kelsey was feeling pain in her behind, or pressure in her behind. So that was a sign that this little guy was on his way. So we headed to the hospital at 10:30 at night. And actually, to preface this, Kelsey was walking around at 4 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced for a month before this. So the baby, we thought he was going to come early, and then he decided to just hang out at 4 centimeters and 100% effaced for a month. So when we went to the hospital at 10:30 at night on Wednesday, when they measured her, she was still at 4 centimeters. So they couldn't admit her. And we had two options: either try to labor some more at home, or walk around the hospital and try to labor some more there. So what we ended up doing was walk around the hospital from 10:30 to about 1 a.m. And when we went back for the remeasuring at 1 a.m., we were expecting, of course, let's get admitted, the dilation increased, and he's ready to come out. Nothing happened, still 4 centimeters. So that was very frustrating for us because they couldn't admit us. And the options that we had from there were to really just go home. Ashley, our doula, had a great idea of recommending Ambien to try to sleep it off a little bit and let the body take care of the dilation and let her get some rest. So they gave her Ambien, and before they put us back in the car and we drove home, they gave her the Ambien, and they said if she's really in active labor, she won't feel the Ambien at all. So popped the Ambien, drove home, and did not sleep a wink, and was experiencing surge after surge after surge from 1:30 a.m. until about 4. So from 1:30 a.m. to 4, we were at home, and the only thing that remotely helped with the surges and the pain from the surges was putting Kelsey in the bathtub. And so for those 3 hours, Kelsey was lying in the bathtub with warm water, and I was sleeping with my head on the bathtub and my arms scooping hot water and pouring on her belly. And by 4:30, the pain was so intense, we had to make a call, and we basically told the hospital, we're coming back, you're going to admit us, and we're not going to do this at home. We're not going to drive back and forth. So by 4:30, we went back, and the process of being in the bathtub, in the water, which is actually making us rethink for next time, maybe we do want a water birth. She dilated without an epidural from 4 to 7 centimeters there. So she was admitted at 7 centimeters at 6 a.m. Now, because of her surges, I think they called it rapid labor, where the surges wouldn't come up and down. They would come up, come down a little bit and stay level at that pain level and come back up. So at that point, the epidural was needed. So we deviated from our plan a little bit, but at the end, tried to remember that our plan is a plan. The end goal is this guy. So we just want him to come out safe. So the epidural was administered at 6 a.m. and you could see within 2 surges it was starting to take effect, and they actually allowed her to what they call labor down, which is sleep. She slept relatively pain-free. She felt the pressure, and from there she labored down until about 12:30, 12 o'clock noon, where she dilated to 10 and was ready to push. And during that time too, her water finally broke, which her water didn't break the whole time. So at 1 o'clock, we were ready to go into the pushing phase, and I think we started preparing at 2, and within the hour, under an hour, at 2:55, Axton came out via vaginal birth, and we had a happy, healthy, screaming, slimy boy, which I got to hold and help catch, which is one of the best memories I think I'll ever have in my life. But looking back at the whole birth story, we were very fortunate to not deviate too much from our birth plan. The only thing that I think that was majorly different was that we had the epidural. But again, not having an epidural or having a natural birth is not a badge of honor. It's a strong preference to have, and that would be the advice that I would give, that have a plan, but be ready to deviate from that plan. And I think Care mentioned something during our second to last class, was print out 3 copies of your birth plan. Give one to the doctors, give one to the hospital, give one to your doula, and burn the 3rd one. Because chances are you'll have to make some adjustments on the fly. And that's what we had to do. But like I said, the end goal is to have this healthy baby here, and looking back, we wouldn't change a thing.
So tell me your feelings about becoming a dad and what you saw and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. My feelings on becoming a dad, and it was so surreal during the pushing phase, because the process was 10 count, hold your breath, push, and repeat that 3 times during every surge. And even when they said it's time to push, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that's what I see on TV, but surely this isn't time. Like this baby's not coming for a little bit. And watching the pushing and starting to see the head, and finally, I'll never forget the doctor during the last few surges stopped and said, "Stop pushing. Wait. Now go. Go, 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 go." And I'm like, whoa, this is different. And all of a sudden I saw his head pop out, and that moment, it was just pure joy. You can't describe it. Even right now, I can't describe it. I mean, it's so hardwired in terms of biological and psychological act, into our DNA, that you can't put into words how it feels to see another human come out of your spouse or your partner, and then looking at him and saying, "You're my child." And it's honestly the best experience I think I've ever had in my life. The hypnobirthing class was very helpful in the sense that it prepared us for the birthing experience. It prepared us for pregnancy and going through pregnancy leading up to the actual birth itself. And the name itself, hypnobirthing, and this is kind of my editorial, I am not a hippie. I'm not the, go bang on a drum underneath the moon type of guy. So when I first heard the name hypnobirthing, I thought we were going to be burning lots of incense and singing and stuff like that. And I'm really glad that none of that occurred. It was actually a lot more scientific and technical than I expected, which is a good thing. And for me, that's the type of knowledge I want. It fully prepared me to know what to expect, even from pregnancy to the later stages, to dilation, to what is being effaced, to labor, and finally delivery. It was extremely helpful having that knowledge and making the overall experience pretty enjoyable. I mean, for me, the birthing, I felt fine throughout, but that's a different point.
Bring him up on mama.
Look, he's already opening his eyes.
So we're going to keep him right down there, okay?
If you like this video, share it with a friend and subscribe to our page. And for more information, go to birtheducationcenter.com to help rewrite your birth.